All right, welcome to my channel. I'm pretty hesitant, but also feeling just a lot of, I don't know, it's not really desire, but it's like this must have. I must have this channel. I think I've been sitting with it for about a month now, wanting to do something creative and also wanting to use my new sort of self-awareness and spirituality in service of something for my life. And so I've decided to lose weight publicly, or attempt to lose weight. I plan to lose weight. And I want to do this in a way that is public and as a way to hold myself accountable. And maybe it'll help someone. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be successful. This is not a before and after success story, at least not yet. And this is going to be a lot different, I think, than me sharing what I'm eating or what exercises I'm doing or what diet plan I'm doing or trying to teach you how to lose weight. This is a lot more about me discovering more about who I am and being willing to look at something that's been really, really hard for me to look at honestly for my entire life, and that is my weight. I cannot believe how much I weigh right now. And I think, yeah, I'm not going to share the number with you all yet. I will do that in a different video. We'll talk about that. I just want this to be to introduce this channel. But yeah, where I'm at right now is I can't believe how much I weigh, but also I'm really starting to see the stories and sort of the dysmorphia about what's reality and versus what's in my mind. When I was a teenager, I weighed about 100 pounds less than I weigh now, and I thought I was fat. And now I feel like I'm thinner than I am. And I'll put some videos and some photos in the chat, or I'll edit some in. I was recently doing a workout this past weekend, kind of like a CrossFit-esque type workout. And a friend of mine took some videos of me, and when I saw them, I was like, oh, wow. I did not know my stomach was bouncing around like that. The other thing, there's been a couple of photos that have been taken of me recently that when I see them, I'm like, that's not me. So it's just super interesting that before, when I was significantly thinner, I thought I was fat. And now it's like I've been telling myself this story that I'm not as heavy as I am. I'm interested in losing weight for health and for mobility. And as I age, I'm going to be 60 this year. And I'm really interested primarily in just staying healthy. I've always been fairly athletic. Have done sports, competitive horse riding, show jumping, things like that, as well as swimming when I was younger. I've always been kind of quick to pick up a sport. I've worked out a lot. And so I had this idea like I'm an athlete or something, but this weight has just, especially since menopause, has been building. And what I've been learning about myself is that I have like a way of projecting having my life together. I'm a productive member of society. I am a good girl. I am a good daughter, a good friend, and smart, and all these things. And I don't think I've been really willing to really truly look at myself for the reality. And not that I want to shame myself. It's not that at all. But it's just seeing what is real and what is not real. And it's so hard with weight, I think. There's so much cultural stigma around being overweight. And I just haven't really bought into a lot of that, at least consciously. Of course, there's all kind of subconscious things, and we can talk more about that. I know I've been telling myself I eat pretty healthy. I have all these stories, right, that I've been telling myself. And gosh, it's only been recently that I've been able to even sort of like talk about my weight. I'm part of a spiritual community here in Portland, Oregon. That's where I am. And it's been brought to my attention through working with a group, just like this rejected identities that we have, and accepted and rejected identities. So it's shadow work, if you've heard of that. I'm working with some of that. I'm working with my relationship to spirit. I'm working with my relationship to myself. And I'm working with being more comfortable to just be with my feelings and emotions, and being a person in an aging body, who is alone. I've been divorced more than once. We'll talk more about that also, I'm sure, in a future video. But right now, I want to look at the thing that I haven't been looking at, and that's my weight. So not to shame myself, not to put undue pressure on myself, not to try to prove anything. I'm really just using this as a forum to have some accountability with myself, and show up and report what's happening. Yeah, so let me talk a little bit about my relationship to food. Because I was sitting with my group a couple weeks ago, and there was a woman there that I know. She said she's lost 100 pounds, and I asked her, how did you do that? And she told me she went to Food Addicts Anonymous, or FA. And I was like, cool, let me check that out, right? So I went to, well, first of all, before I did that, I said, I don't think I'm a food addict. I don't really consider myself a binger. I don't really consider that I eat. In fact, sometimes I forget to eat, or I don't eat. But I don't eat lunch because I'm busy working. And so, yeah, I had all these stories like, that's not for me. I'm not a food addict. But I stepped away and I thought about it, and I went to the FA website and I read about it, and, they had their quiz. And yeah, I'm not pulling cakes out of the garbage or stealing food from my employer, but I am definitely taking comfort from food and using food as a distraction. So if, for example, I go to a party and I'm a little socially uncomfortable, I will eat as a way to soothe, or I will drink wine as a way to soothe in real time. And it's all like under the guise of, yeah, we're having fun, we're partying. Look at us, we're eating cheese dip and having a great time. And what I'm noticing is these things like get a little tricky. They get a little nuanced, in that I'm able to tell myself the story that I'm not eating food for comfort, and yet I am, and it's right there, and yet I can't see it. So a lot of what I'm going to be doing here is sort of uncovering my own blind spots. I'll be working with groups, and I will tell you more about those groups, because they're actually a big part of the work. And I could do this work with anything in my life, and yet I have chosen to do this with my weight, because I feel like it's going to be the biggest challenge for me, the biggest thing to be with, the biggest potential opportunity for me to fail, which is another sort of side of myself. It's another shadow side, is that it's not okay to fail. It's failure. The failure, or the fool, is a rejected identity of mine. And what I'm working with is this idea that, oh no, I can fail. And maybe there's gifts and beauty in that failure. Or maybe there's gifts and beauty in the ability to have failure be an option. Because when failure is not an option, oh man, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot to hold that together. So that's not what this is going to be about. This is going to be about being honest and showing up. It's not about me performing. I'm going to show up. I'm going to commit to show up here once a week and post, whether things are going well or whether things are not going well. And I'm doing that for myself. Maybe something good will come out of this for someone else that stumbles across this channel. But at this point, I'm not even going to be advertising this or promoting this channel in any way. It's really just truly for me. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Oh, yeah. So what I'm calling this channel is Unshrunken. And the reason for that is because I have been a person that has kept myself small in some ways for my entire life. And it is related to my size. So when I remember being in 6th and 7th grade, and I was 2, 3, 4 inches maybe taller than all my friends. I weighed more than them. I was not fat, but I was probably like 5'8" and 120, 130 pounds. But I was big, and I learned to try to make myself small. I learned to try to shrink myself. And I remember my grandfather telling me, don't slouch, stand up straight. And that felt really uncomfortable to me. I never, as a young person, even like into my 20s, would show cleavage. That was very uncomfortable. I was always trying to kind of like hide myself. And so this channel is about losing weight, but even more importantly than that, it's about not playing small and not hiding myself anymore. And so, yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I can probably do a long video about some reasons why, how I got there, how I've discovered this about myself, and how I want to sort of embrace a little bit more of the bigness. And so at the same time I'm going to be losing weight and shrinking, I'm going to be unshrinking and being big, bigger, 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 standing up straight, getting out there, being willing to be seen, and we'll see where it goes. All right. Thanks for watching.